So apparently, before you're allowed to love someone else, you have to love yourself first. That's a nice advice, but it sounds like it doesn't belong here. The problem is that it's nonsense. Some of the most loving and loyal people I've met hated themselves. And if you've ever been told that you're not ready for love until you're this fully healed, perfectly confident person, I'm here to ruin that for you. Look, I'm not here to be your therapist. I'm here because I've been on both sides of this, the self love path and the reality. I've heard it from friends, from social media, from people who swear they're just trying to help. And it sounds empowering until you're the person sitting there thinking, great, I'm broken and I'm not allowed to love anyone until I fix myself. That's the emotional equivalent of telling someone they can't eat until they run a marathon. And here's why this conversation matters, because this idea that love is something you only deserve once you've achieved self love keeps people isolated. It convinces you that you're somehow disqualified from one of the most basic human needs. It also creates this ridiculous fantasy version of people who are ready for love, as if they are like walking around with no insecurities at all. Those people don't exist. Let me tell you about a friend of mine, and let's just call this friend Cynthia. Cynthia was going through a brutal breakup, hated the way she looked, didn't think she was smart enough or successful enough, whatever. The usual peak of self hate. And yet, she was the first person to text me when I was sick, and the only person who remembered things that no one else did. And she loved her partner so deeply when she was in a relationship. Did she love herself first? No. Was she capable of love? Absolutely. And if she had waited until she's fully healed before letting someone in, she would have missed years of meaningful connections. So here's my question: who came up with this idea in the first place, and why did we all just agree to it without reading the fine print? Honestly, I think it started as decent advice. The intention was good. Don't use someone else as a distraction from your own issues. That's fair. But somewhere along the line, people twisted it into this self worth gatekeeping rule. And now, if you admit you're insecure, people act like you just confessed that you're unfit of having this connection with someone, which is crazy because everyone is insecure about something. Literally everyone, even the people that sell you self-love courses online. Imagine we applied this logic to anything else. Like, you can't cook until you have a restaurant, or you can't go to the gym until you're already in shape. See how stupid that sounds? Yet somehow with love, we accepted this. You must be perfect first. You must be fully healed first. You must do this first. We accepted this and we take it as wisdom, when in reality it's nonsense. Here's the part people miss. Sometimes you learn to love yourself by being loved by others. Someone shows you patience, kindness, care, and it forces you to rethink how you see yourself. They become a mirror that reflects back a version of yourself that you couldn't see before. And yes, sometimes it's messy, sometimes you crash and burn, but that's part of growth. Love doesn't require you to show up perfect, it just requires you to show up. I've had moments where I didn't like myself at all. I avoided people, I overthought everything, and yet I've been in relationships where someone treated me in a way that made me think maybe I am lovable. And sure, those moments didn't magically cure me, but they planted a seed, and seeds grow, even in people who swear their garden is dead. So if love can help you grow, why are we treating it like it's some prize you only get when you've already grown? Makes no sense, right? Now, let me be clear on one thing. I'm not saying you should ignore working on yourself, and I'm not saying you should depend on someone to fix you. I'm saying this: the idea that you have to reach this level of self acceptance before you're allowed to be in love is unrealistic. And it's cruel because life doesn't wait until you're ready. People are going to come into your life, sometimes too early, sometimes too late, but they're going to come into your life and you're allowed to show up as you are. Think about it. People who've battled depression have still been incredible parents. People with low self esteem have been supportive, loyal partners. And people who doubted themselves have been the best friends you could ever ask for. Perfection isn't the entry ticket to love. Being open to receiving it is. One of my favorite couples, they've been together for years, but they were in terrible places when they met. Financial stress, personal issues, you name it. And yet they supported each other, pushed each other, and ended up in better places because of the relationship. If they had waited until they loved themselves first, they would have never met. So here's my challenge to you. If you've been putting off love because you think you're not enough yet, who told you that? And why are you still listening to them? The danger isn't in loving before you love yourself. The danger is in using love to avoid yourself entirely. If you're with someone just so you don't have to face your problems, that's avoidance, not love. But loving someone while you figure yourself out, that's life. And we're all figuring ourselves out. If we all waited until we are 100% emotionally ready and healthy for love, dating apps would shut down from inactivity. And let's be honest, most people aren't even at 60%. They're just better at hiding it. You are not too broken to be loved. You are not too imperfect. You are not on some probation period where you have to prove you're worthy. You can work on yourself and still let someone in. And if someone tells you otherwise, they're just projecting their own fears onto you. If you're nodding right now, or maybe even tearing up a little, it's because part of you knows I'm right. And part of you is scared I'm right. So let's talk about it. What's the worst self-help advice you've ever been given? Leave it in the comments and I might roast it in another video. And if you know someone who's been told they're not ready for love because they're not perfect yet, send them this. They need to hear it. You don't need to love yourself first. You need to be willing to try loving them and to try loving yourself in the process. That's enough. That's more than enough.